All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to today's class. So we're talking about introduction to JavaScript. I don't know why I'm trying to share the screen. It's not working. So we're talking about introduction to JavaScript, and JavaScript is one of the programming languages that we use on the web, and a very popular one at that. So we'll just do a general introduction to what JavaScript is and what JavaScript can do for us, and the reason why we need to learn JavaScript. I hope before I finish this introduction, this share button will be working by then. But now, good. So why do we need to learn JavaScript? So what can JavaScript do for us? I know we are taking course on HTML. I know we are taking courses on HTML, CSS, and now we are down to JavaScript. So what can JavaScript do for us? Why do we need JavaScript? Why is it necessary? So first of all, JavaScript is a very popular programming language used to build interactive web pages and web applications. So it's very popular. As a matter of fact, you can't talk about programming, you can talk about web, you can't talk about anything within that space without talking about JavaScript. This is because JavaScript is the language of the browser where most of the web applications are rendered. So when you write HTML, you write CSS, you definitely have to render it on a browser. So that's what makes JavaScript really popular and really important. I hope everybody can hear me. So there are a few things that makes JavaScript really, really stand out and makes it really necessary for front end and web development. You said what? Really necessary for front end development. Number one is the fact that JavaScript can manipulate your HTML. So you know the HTML code that you write in your p tag, your h1, h2, div, and all of those things. So you can actually use JavaScript to manipulate them, right? To modify their contents. So say for instance, you are trying to design your page and then you put in a p tag. For instance, you put in XYZ in a p tag, just for example, and you can change the content of that p tag with JavaScript, right? So you can change the content of that p tag with JavaScript. That's why we said JavaScript can manipulate HTML. So this is one of the most beautiful things about JavaScript and why you need to learn it. Also, for instance, when you click a button on a particular page, so JavaScript can help you do some of those events, click events, scroll events, and the rest of them. So if a user clicks a button on your page, for instance, you can decide what happens using JavaScript. When you do your HTML, your page is almost static. It's almost looking very boring, right? So, but when your page needs to be interactive, that's where JavaScript comes in. So it makes your page interactive. So when someone clicks a button with JavaScript, you can decide what happens after the person clicks. So if the person is scrolling through a page, you can also decide what happens when the person scroll through a certain section, just to make the whole thing, to make people relate with the websites that you have built. Interestingly, too, JavaScript can also control your CSS. So you can write CSS from JavaScript to either overwrite what you have written, or sort of like just create some dynamic styling around your page. So you can use JavaScript to say that when your button is clicked, the initial thing you did with your CSS, maybe the button was in a yellow color. So, but you can set it in such a way that whenever they click it, it turns red, right? So JavaScript can help you manipulate CSS too. So I've talked about handling events. JavaScript can help you when there's a click, when there's a mouse movement, when somebody hits the keyboard, you can decide what happens after that using JavaScript, just to make sure that your page is interactive and your page is responsive. So one of the greatest things that JavaScript does is that it makes your page interactive, it makes it responsive. And so another beautiful thing about JavaScript is that it helps you perform what we call asynchronous operations. There's a concept around programming that we call asynchronous programming. Let me just use something practical so it does not look too big, and I don't even want to waste time. That's like move forward. But for instance, we are in a queue, right? We want to buy food from a restaurant, for instance, and we are 5 on the line, right? So the first person just wants to buy a food of 100 naira. The second person wants to buy a food of like 200, but the third person wants to buy a food of 1,000 naira. But the person at his back, that's the fourth person, wants to probably buy a food of 50 naira, for instance. So you know that someone that's buying a food of 100 naira, 200, 300, and 1,000, the time that it will take to serve the food of 2,000 will be different from the time that it will take to serve that of 1,000, right? Can you guys hear me? Can you type if you can hear me? I don't know. Can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yeah, we are hearing you.
All right.
We are hearing you.
All right, thank you. So yeah, so asynchronous programming is in such a way that when we serve the person of 100 naira, 200, when we are serving the person of 1,000, we don't have to wait for us to finish serving the person that is buying the food of 1,000 naira. So instead of waiting for that person to finish, instead of waiting to finish serving that person, we can be serving that person at the same time, since the guy at his back is just buying for 15 naira. So while we are serving the guy of 1,000, we can serve the guy at his back 15 naira. So he does not have to wait for that length of time that it will take to serve the guy of 1,000 before he reaches his time. So the essence of asynchronous programming is to handle stuff like fetching data from your server. Like you open a site now, you log in, and then your profile pops up. Fetching those dynamic data, we use asynchronous programming. So that's where we have stuff like await callbacks in JavaScript, of which is very necessary for you to know. So we can also use JavaScript to validate form data, to make sure that some websites, they will tell you a certain kind of data that you must put into a form. So when you put in the wrong data, they just like sort of pop up an error, something like that. So you can use JavaScript to ensure that the kind of data that you want your application to receive is what the user is putting in. So you can always validate it before it's sent to the server, before it's sent to your database, or before the user passes. So you ensure that the user conforms to whatever kind of data you want. So you use JavaScript to validate that. There are functions like regular expressions and a lot of functions that you can use to make that work. So JavaScript can also help us to animate our page. This is very, very interesting. You have jQuery and the rest of them. So you can use JavaScript to do crazy animations on your page. There are also libraries like Anime.js, JSAP, right? So this is one beautiful thing about, this JavaScript. So also there's what we call APIs, application programming interfaces. So with JavaScript as a scripting language, we can use JavaScript to interact with APIs. I will not spend so much time with that, but it's something that you must learn as you are going. But another beautiful thing is that you can use JavaScript to build games. You can use JavaScript to write around AI and machine learning. There's what we call TensorFlow. I hope I pronounced it well. TensorFlow.js, right? So that's one reason why you need to learn JavaScript. So, but I was forced to say this, that you have to learn JavaScript as a programming language and not just a language that will help you, and not just a language that will help you build applications only. No, you have to really learn JavaScript as a programming language. So that's one thing that I would always, put as a disclaimer. So, some people only know JavaScript to the extent of building around web applications or websites. Why that is fine is not all that JavaScript can do. It's not all that JavaScript can do. So you have to really focus on learning JavaScript as a programming language. So if this is your first programming language, welcome to the world. If you have written what they call those things again, Basic, COBOL, C#, C++, C, and Visual Basic, and all of those programming languages is beautiful, but welcome to JavaScript. So I would not want to go so much into the history of JavaScript, but I will see if I can provide us a link that talked about all of those things. But JavaScript have evolved over time. It's a very beautiful language. And so there are a couple of things that are the reason why I'm begging you to not just learn programming language as JavaScript as the language of the browser, but also learn it as a programming language. So programming languages are a way we express our problem-solving skills, right? So, you're doing HTML now, you're doing CSS now, building beautiful interfaces. Soon it will be boring. The interfaces will just be standing still and it cannot do anything. It's not functional and it's not, making any move. Nothing is happening. I don't know for you, Shab. I don't like that stuff. I just rigid, right? So that's why you really need to learn JavaScript. And so one of the biggest features of JavaScript is the fact that it is versatile, in the sense that JavaScript really can program a wide range of things, right? So apart from just being the powering house of the web and being the language of the browser, which makes it very beautiful for web applications and websites, is also very versatile and widely used, and also it has a lot of job prospects attached to it. It has also a lot of libraries and frameworks to work with. right? So JavaScript is a versatile language that is used on both front end and back end web application. So you can just drop a comment in the chat box if you are with me. So that is used for both front end and back end. So the front end is what you're doing now, HTML, CSS, then adding JavaScript to it now. Then the back end is where the database is, and all of those complex stuff, right? So that's the versatile nature of JavaScript. So you can literally learn JavaScript and be a full stack developer. Do you understand now? So JavaScript alone can make you a full stack developer. That's why I'm saying you should learn it as a programming language, and it's a way for you to express your problem solving skills, right? So JavaScript, you can use JavaScript to build around modern web browsers, web applications, websites. You can use JavaScript to build mobile applications. For instance, let me give you an example. The VS Code that you used, so I was watching an interview of the guys that did VS Code. And let me shock you that the VS Code that you use is purely written with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. No framework, no React, no nothing in the middle. They just package it with what we call Electron. And that's what they are using for VS Code. And they have a very strong reason for doing that. And they're trying to, skip performance issues. If you're using React and all of this stuff, you have to handle a lot of performance issues. So they did not want all of that. So they wrote VS Code with pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So with JavaScript, you can build mobile applications. There's this stuff that we're using then. I don't know if it's still alive now. Cordova is, I think, Adobe that owns that platform. I don't know if they still use it now. Cordova, you can write your mobile applications in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and ship it through Cordova at that time. So you can write your mobile applications. You can write server-side programming, server-side scripting programming. I'm seeing somebody write Node.js somewhere around this place. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can write desktop applications like VS Code. You can write game applications. And you can even do Internet of Things right around, interact with Raspberry Pi, Arduino, all of this stuff, right? So JavaScript is that versatile. JavaScript has some similarities with Python because of the way they are versatile. They are widely used across different borders. And the beautiful thing is that JavaScript is so easy to learn. I mean, let me not say that, but if you cannot learn JavaScript, I don't know. I don't know, because it's extremely easy to learn. The syntax are so like English language. They're so readable. They're so simple. They're so considerate. JavaScript will pet you. Even when you make mistake, it will still have a way of petting you somehow. So JavaScript is beginner friendly actually. Although some of these petting that it does are part of the reasons why JavaScript has some issues, but we'll get to that. So, but it's really easy to learn. And the beautiful thing also is that it has wide range of resources, right? So I use MDN a lot, Mozilla Developer Network, MDN, developer.mozilla.org, something like that. I may not be distracted, but I use MDN. But there are a ton of resources on JavaScript, and that's what makes it really, really easy, right? It makes it really easy. It does not need you to do complex stuff at the beginning, right? So it welcomes you and pets you and hugs you because You have to you have to understand that, right? So I'm using the word easy because it's truly easy. There is no other meaning to it. It's really easy. Wide range of resources, wide range of documentation, accessible anywhere, anyhow. Another beautiful thing about JavaScript is the fact that there is a large and active community around JavaScript. Dozie was telling us that you can't really learn programming and be very successful in isolation, right? And that's extremely very true. That's very, very key, right? So that's why you have to find a community like this. That's part of the reasons why all of these things are set up, because you can't just do it on your own alone, right? You would try, but you would go too slow, right? You'll not be able to meet up. You will not know what's trending. You don't know what's happening. You just think that you are doing well in your space, but that's not true. So we have a very large and active community around JavaScript. There are lots of people that write JavaScript. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's any software engineer, any software developer that one way or the other in his career will not write JavaScript. I don't think that developer exists. I don't think that developer exists, right? So I feel like JavaScript is a minimum requirement to even be a software engineer or a software developer anywhere in the world. One way or the other, you will still find yourself in the JavaScript ecosystem. So it's important for you to learn it. And there are a lot of people that program, and a lot of people willing to render help, a lot of people willing to coach, a lot of people willing to show you the ways around JavaScript, right? So tons of online communities, a lot of libraries in JavaScript like Node.js, jQuery. Man, they are just too much. So depending on what you're trying to build and what you're trying to create, you have to take your time to look at what library can help you out, right? So that's one of the most beautiful things ever when it comes to that. So beautiful. I've talked about, integrating your JavaScript with your CSS, handling events, modifying your CSS, modifying your HTML. So you can literally manipulate your HTML and CSS with JavaScript. You see, that's superpower. That's superpower, right? Is great superpower for you. So JavaScript makes you the boss around your project. So there's nothing that CSS or HTML got on you. You can easily just manipulate them, with your powerful JavaScript skill, right? So JavaScript also has a rich ecosystem. I talked about that some time ago. So we have different frameworks around JavaScript: React, Angular, Vue, jQuery, Node.js. My God, they are just too much and too many, and they are rapidly growing. Most of them are really already efficient now. So another beautiful thing about JavaScript is the fact that it evolves. And that's the one of the biggest price that you must pay as a developer, is the fact that you cannot stop learning. You can't stop learning. There's no amount of learning that you will get to that you have attained it. No, sir. Right? So you have to keep learning, because JavaScript will keep evolving. Years 2020, years 2015, years 20 this, years 6, years 5. My God, they are so as the JavaScript is growing, they are adding up new things, they are removing new things, they are making it more efficient, they are making it more stable. You have to follow that trend too. So at the time, callbacks were really a good way to handle asynchronous programming, but it was no longer efficient still. They brought async await, right? So async await came to cover the whole callback hell, right? To make JavaScript even better. So you see that the people that are doing JavaScript are on your side, especially as a learner. they're on your side, so they make things really easy and really, really good. So finally, JavaScript is widely used in the industry. Like I said, I don't know how, but I don't think that you will succeed in this industry without learning JavaScript one way or the other. Even if it's not your major programming language, one way or the other, you have to write JavaScript. So it's widely used and it is highly in demand, right? So it's highly in demand. There are a lot of jobs around JavaScript. As a matter of fact, if you want to just jump into the industry as fast as possible, master your JavaScript very well, master it very well. So there are numerous opportunities around web development, mobile app, and other related fields around the world for JavaScript. So that should be enough motivation for you to, jump into this thing, because it's easy. It's really easy, and it's not about motivation, right? It's not about motivation. It's really, really easy, and you will see that as we progress. So just to give us a little idea around some of the things that we just keep in our mind for JavaScript. JavaScript is built from what we call ExmaScript, right? So they call it, so some call it JavaScript, some call it ExmaScript, some call it Mocha, some call it LiveScript. So those are the names that it evolved from, right? So you may see it in some of the tutorials. Some people may talk about it so that you just know. But like I said, I'll send us a link so that you read up all of those things, right? Yeah. So choosing JavaScript, like I said before, some people are laughing. Like I said before, JavaScript can make you a full stack developer, right? JavaScript can make you a full stack developer. It does not mean that's all the programming language you will need. It does not mean that's all the programming language you will ever write, but it's a good place to start, I think. It's a good place to start, especially for you going into web and web applications and stuff like that. And so just to give us a perspective of the sites JavaScript can help us in web development. So we have front-end development, which talks about the interface, the defined place, where you're writing your HTML, your CSS. So with JavaScript, you can easily write front-end applications. So there's what we call DOM manipulation. There's what we call DOM manipulation. I'm just keeping all of this information around because as you begin to progress in this journey, you'll be hearing some of these things and you'll be seeing them live, right? You'll be seeing them live. So yeah, so we have HTML where we integrate our JavaScript to our HTML code. So we have what we call DOM manipulation. That's what I said before, that you can easily manipulate. You can easily add, modify, remove elements, change style, handle events, perform other applications around your web page dynamically with your JavaScript. So it's called document object model. There is still browser object model. There are a lot like that. Different, there are really APIs actually, but different sections and different things that you can do with JavaScript. There's also one that is called Ajax. There's also one that is called Ajax that provides a lot of different functions for us. I don't even know if people still use that. I think it was quite very popular at the time. So, but at the back end development, we have Node.js. We have Node.js for front end frameworks. So JavaScript, there are frameworks around JavaScript that helps us build faster, that helps us work faster as developers. So you may not really need to write everything from scratch. So with frameworks, they already have some of these things pre-written for you. So you just have to like learn how to use other people's code to set up your work. So that's the crazy thing about being a developer. It's not just about what you can write. You will also be able to interact with other people's code. So for front end, we have Angular, we have React, we have Vue, we have Nest.js, and the rest of them like that, right? But I think React is very popular front JavaScript front end development, and React is developed by Facebook. We call them Meta now, right? So we have React, we have Angular, we have Vue, we have Nest.js, and the host of them at the front end. So these are frameworks that are built around JavaScript. So, but you not get to understand these frameworks, or you'll not be able to interact with them freely if you don't know the core JavaScript. So I'm always of the opinion that people should take time to learn JavaScript as a programming language, right? JavaScript is object-oriented, so that makes it really flexible, makes the code reusable, makes our code to be more efficient and maintainable, and the rest of them. So we can easily reuse our codes. We can easily photocopy our codes in object formats, right? So you have to take time to really learn it as a programming language while you are using it to manipulate your, so that you can, be flexible enough with it. So at the back end, JavaScript is used at the back end of the framework. So where we use it at the back end is what we call Node.js. And Node.js is a runtime environment built on Chrome V8 engine. So all of this gibberish, when you get there, you understand what I'm saying. So that's for the back end. And at the back end, there are still a ton of libraries and frameworks that you can use that are built on JavaScript, Express, Happy.js, and the whole host of them, right? Nest.js and the host of them that are at the back end. So you can use them to develop web applications, APIs. You use them to connect your front end to your database. So JavaScript can also help you in your database integration for backend. So all of those things are not part of what we are discussing, just to give you a perspective of what JavaScript can do. There are a lot. And so it's important you put your mind at this point to learn it very well and be really strong at it. So I always like to say that programming language and all of these things are just really tools. So if you cannot use a spanner very well, even when you are given a spanner, it will be useless in your hands, right? So even when you have what you would use a spanner to do, it will be useless in your hands. So yeah, so you have to take your time to learn this JavaScript very well. Learn it as a tool that you can use to express your problem-solving ability. You can use to express your skill as a senior developer that you guys are already becoming now. So at this point, I would like to show us one or two things, but I don't know, this thing is not so I don't know if you can help me. This thing is not sharing my screen.
You said what is not sharing your screen?
It's not I'm trying to share my screen, but it's showing host disabled, attendee, sharing screen, something.
Host disabled care. Are you serious? Let me check the settings because I'm using it from my
Okay.
Give me a second.
All right. So yeah, like I said, so you just help me type in the chat box if you are following me. So this is one of the most interesting part of web development, actually. One of the most interesting part of web development that you need to learn. So yeah, somebody may be asking, how do I set up JavaScript? How do I start working with JavaScript? What do I need to work with JavaScript? So yeah, basically you need your IDE, and you're already using VS Code, for instance. So you need your IDE, you need a good browser, right? You need a good browser. Basically all that you need to, quickly start up. So except you are going for back end, we need to install Node.js. We don't need that now. So just your IDE and your browser is enough to host your code. So that's basically all you need to set up with JavaScript. So is Nest.js for front end? Or I don't understand answering questions now, but we have Nest.js and we have Nest.js. We have Nest and we have Nest. So Nest is the front end, although the beautiful feature around Nest is the fact that it can really help you for server-side rendering. But focus on, let's calm down. Example of a good browser is, I don't even know what example of a good browser is. A good browser is a browser that is up to date, that can help you access the internet, right? So Google Chrome is good. Firefox is also very good. I have what's the name of this browser in this Windows? I've forgotten. Edge, Microsoft Edge, right? So if you have Edge, is good. So I think this theory, basically. So I don't know if JavaScript rejects. Somebody should help me put up this resource that I was talking about, MDN, Mozilla Developer Network documentation.
Excuse me, Sir Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, you should be able to share your screen right now.
All right, let me try that now. Okay, yeah, I think it's working. Okay. Okay. I just want I don't know if you can see my screen already. Can you guys see my screen already?
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. So let's sort of see what our JavaScript looks like. Let's see what JavaScript looks like, and then when I'm done with this, I'll just open the floor for questions. So I want to create your normal HTML, index.html, right? Index.html. And I want to also create, I don't even know if I need it now, but let me also create index.css. I don't even know if I need it, but let me just put it there so that we at least recognize it. So there are different ways we can use CSS, JavaScript around our page, right? There are different ways we can use CSS around our, let's say CSS, JavaScript around our page, sorry. And one of those ways is I don't even know which of them is even more more advisable now. Or you can write your CSS directly into your page. You can write your CSS. You can write your JavaScript directly into your page. Something like this. So there's a tag called script, right? So there's a tag called script. Why is this thing not closing immediately? Right, so there's a tag called script. So right inside of this script in your normal HTML, your normal HTML page, your HTML document. So this is just where you can do all of the CSS, all of the JavaScripts that you want to do. Although if your work is becoming really big, this will not really be advisable for you to do. But let's just do something around this page and say, so when we are trying to, we'll do all of this, but I just want to show you how JavaScript works. Just want to show you how JavaScript works. Name. So please don't be, I know some of you already understand some of this stuff, but what is your name? My name is name. Okay, so my name is name. Okay? My name is name. All right, so for instance, I've written this simple JavaScript code into this our HTML page. So this one with the right JavaScript. So I want to show us how this is functioning on the browser. I just want to show us how this is functioning in the browser. Okay, you can't see my browser. Oh, sorry. Sorry, let me show you the browser. Should I just share this entire screen? Wow, why is it not showing again? Can you guys hear me?
You can hear you, but I no longer see your screen.
Okay, so I'm trying to share my browser and I don't know why it's not showing. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see your screen any longer.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not working again. I was trying to show us the the browser side of it. Wondering why this is not.
You can try it again. It should be working now. I think there was any issue.
Let me try to refresh the page again. Okay, so why that?
Please, let me just interject something, please.
Is that?
Please, sorry. Let me just try to interject something. I want to just tell the participants something, please. Yeah, I can hear you. I just want to tell them something, please. For all of us that are on this call, please do me a favor and just change your display name to the name you put on your list so I can know the attendance I'm taking, so I would not mix it up. So if your name is your nickname, because I'm seeing some names here that are not, like I'm seeing Big Mike, I'm seeing Viola Bezos, please change your name to the real name that you have, your name and your surname. Thank you very much. Please just do that now while you're paying attention to class. Thank
you. Right. I think it should work. I think it should work now. Can you guys see this?
Yes, you can see it.
Yes.
Wow. All right. So you will notice that this is the web page that I wrote the code for on VS Code. So you'll notice that I wrote something like prompt, and I wrote, what is your name? If you zoom in very well, you see that command, what is your name? Are you seeing it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good. So if I type my name now, for instance, what's my name? My name is name. So I type my name now and I say okay. You see that it shows another command that says my name is name. Did you see that?
Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah.
So you see that without so much stress around CSS or HTML, I was able to use just JavaScript to display something on my screen. And I think that's really interesting. I think that's really, really interesting. So let's attempt to go back to our code. I'm trying to share my entire screen so you can see. So I don't have to be switching. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
I can see your screen, sir.
You can see my screen now?
Yes.
All right, good.
No, it's still loading.
Yeah, still loading. It's yet to display.
It's still loading?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we can only see your voice.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Still loading. Yes.
No.
Still loading. No, I don't know.
I think it's still loading. I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Not yet. It's still loading. Maybe from the network.
I can't see it.
Probably the network is bad from your own end. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think you should be able to see it now.
Keep trying. Maybe it can still show.
I think
keep doing something.
I hope you are not out of data. I mean,
yes, we can see it now. I can see.
Are you sorry? I'm not seeing anything.
Like, I'm not seeing anything. I'm just seeing a black space. Like,
yeah, that's
another way to see this, you do after you want to go back, then tap on it.
Nothing is showing yet. Nothing is showing.
Okay.
It's showing now.
Oh, I can see it now.
Your VS Code, right?
All right.
Yes.
Yes,
Doing that.
So um let's so this is one way of writing. This is one way of writing JavaScript. So you write it directly inside of your HTML file, of which this is not always advisable, especially when your code is getting really large. You don't want to be mixing your p tag and h tag and all of those tags together. For instance, you have a div here now. For instance, you have a div here, and you have maybe you have a p tag here now that you wrote. Welcome to class, right? So you don't want to mix all of this your stuff. You don't want to mix all of this your plenty HTML code with JavaScript. The code will be too large and it will be messy. So that's why personally I would not advise you to use this style of I would not advise you to use this style. So, but it's possible to write your JavaScript directly inside of your HTML. Inside of your HTML. So let me attempt to show something here now. Let me give this a class. You guys know this. You guys know this now, but before I just show the last thing, and I want to call that class text. Can you see that now? Can you see that now?
Yes.
Good. So I want to say something like document. I told us about HTML, JavaScript being able to like override your HTML and CSS and the rest of that. Document docs. So these are DOM manipulations that I'm doing now, just by class name. So I want to change the content of this p tag just to give us an example. I want to change the content of that place I wrote welcome to class, and I want to change it. So I want to say text, right? Class name test, and I want to call this. I want to say on text is equals to this, right? And I want to now say anytime. Okay, let me do something else now. Let me say const transform text should be equals to
He done.
Okay, whatever this is.
Nah, he done the learn JavaScript.
Okay, just something like this, simple stuff, right? So yeah, so I want to sort of transform that place I wrote welcome to class to you don't finish JavaScript. Nah, you don't finish. I mean, you don't know they learn JavaScript now. Okay, so I want to do something like document dot. I want to say let's text. You remember this test I wrote here now is that text that I wrote at the top. So I want to say let's test internal HTML internal internal HTML. Hope this code is correct. Document words.
I'm sleeping now. I'm not going to sleep. I said to sleep. Maybe I'm going to sleep.
Can you please mute your mic? Can you guys, okay. Let me just do it this way. Let me bring this one down. Sorry. Let me bring this one. So don't worry, after this, I will just, so that we can ask questions. So I want to say this dot, let me say internal, inner HTML is equals to transform text. So I want to take out this stuff that I wrote here, right? And I want to like comment these 2 lines out for now. So what I wrote here, document.get element by class name, text is the class name, text is the class name, the inner HTML, and I want to, so what I'm saying is that let whatever is in this p tag be changed to a done, the finish JavaScript. I done the learn, I don't
finish JavaScript.
Learn, we'll just say the learn. Okay, so we'll now go to our browser now. So if we get to our browser and we load our work, can you see my browser?
No.
No, sir. No, sir.
Let me close this VS Code first.
It's possible you can divide your screens into 2, so you'll not be going back and forth.
I was trying to share the entire screen, but it's not working. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not working. This is not showing up. Okay, can you see it now? Can you guys see it now?
No.
Yes, sir.
No.
No, sir.
I mean, again. How am I not being able? Let me stop sharing first. Do it again.
Very good. Yes.
Wait, now.
Let me share.
Maybe you can create it.
I don't know how this is working. I mean,
Now move to the camera now.
okay.
So I think you should share your entire screen so that whatever is displayed on your monitor will be displayed.
That's what I'm trying to do, but it's not, I don't know why it's not working. Let me just show it.
Let's unmute our mic.
Can you see it now?
It's still loading.
It's coming up.
It's coming. Let's see.
Can you see it now?
And the way.
Can you see it now?
It's on the way.
Yes, I'm saying it.
Okay.
It does not come up.
All right. So you see that place where we have done the learn JavaScript in our HTML. Can you see it now?
No. We've not seen anything.
Nobody has
It's
seen it.
still loading.
It's still processing
here.
I can see it. I'm seeing it, Sha.
I can see it too.
I can't do. Me, I can't do. Ow.
How are you guys doing?
Has everybody seen it now?
No.
Just go back to the chat box.
No,
then
I
go
can't
to
see
the-
anything.
I can't see it.
I can see it. I can see it.
If you mute your camera, you will see it.
You'll be able to see it now.
I can see it.
I can see it now. I'm not seeing anything. Mine is just black.
Mine is blank too.
Please, I still can't see anything.
Mine is black too.
I don't know whether it's this service that is fluctuating.
See it.
I'm seeing it, though. I'm seeing it.
Mine is not showing yet too. It's black.
Over here, it's still processing.
God, I beg all of you that are seeing it. Where are you seeing it from now?
I don't know.
Is I done.
Please,
it's all
I
the
don't want
history. Now it's all the
tardiness. I was
history.
letting you guys speak, but please, you guys should put off your mic. How come none of you is speaking in this meeting? What's the problem now? You turn off your mic. If you're not going to speak in an orderly manner, then don't speak at all. I'm seeing a screen there, but what's the problem? Come on now, I don't have to listen to you guys like children. If you are going to speak, so
All right. I think yeah, I think someone just posted it and I think you can see it. So like I showed us before, from our code, this place we are seeing it done the learn JavaScript. What we wrote in our code there, it done whatever. What we wrote there from our code. Can you
put off your mic now?
Your mic? Just type at the chat box. I think everybody's seeing it. I don't know why. Hope you are all seeing it. Even me, I'm seeing it. All right. Okay, let's not overflog that, but I think what I was trying to just show us was that what I was just trying to show us was that I used the JavaScript to replace that place we wrote welcome to class. So this it done the JavaScript. Right. So that's why I told you that with JavaScript you have superpower over your page. So whatever is written in HTML, you can just tell them to like wipe it off with your JavaScript superpower. Right. So but that's not basically what I wanted to show you. So what I wanted to show you is the fact that there are different ways that you can write your JavaScript. There are different ways that you can write your JavaScript. And I just showed us the fact that we can write it inside of our, now we can write it directly inside of our HTML page. So we are back to our code. So if you remember this p tag that we wrote, the real content of the p tag is welcome to class. Or when we ran this script, it brought out this down, whatever. Okay, so this is one way of writing your script. But another way, which I think is the conventional way and good way to write this stuff, is to take out this script from inside of your JavaScript. Like I said, if your code is becoming the lines of code are increasing and you are writing a lot of HTML and JavaScript and everything inside of this one file, you will get confused. I think that's the same reason why we don't write our CSS inside of our HTML too, even though we can, right? We just not do that because it will make the whole code messy and really tiring to read. So instead of doing that, you can just quickly, instead of writing it inside of your HTML, you can just quickly write something like, you can just quickly create something like scripts.js. So this is how we name our JavaScript files. You can call it index.js, call it script.js. Just make it descriptive as possible, depending on the use, right? So I've opened this file now. So the first thing I want to do is to connect this file to my HTML page, right? So I want to connect this file to my HTML page. So first of all, I want to take this away. And so how to connect your script to your HTML page is that conventionally you just come down to close to the at the down part, but the script tag must be within your script tag must be within your body tag. Are you seeing it now? So the script tag that I just wrote here now must be within your body tag. So if you put it, if you put it somewhere here, it's not going to work. Could it work? It's here. So we want to keep it right inside of your body tag. So that way you'll be able to connect your HTML to your CSS. So that then instead of writing all of those things, I think you can also put that on at your head tag, but not really advisable to do that. Yeah, it's not really advisable to do that, right? Your script at your head tag. So the conventional thing is that if you're writing it externally, you want to leave it, you want to write it this way, you have to link it like this, to avoid a lot of issues. So yeah, I think one problem with writing it at the head is, I think at the head tag is, whenever you refresh the page, you like run the script again, and maybe I'm not trying to do something at that particular time, but the fact that you refresh the page will trigger the action on the JavaScript to happen again and again and again. So that's not really nice. So it's not really effective. So you want to keep your JavaScript outside. So when you come here, it's not like PHP, it's not like HTML. You don't need to write any header, any body closing tag, or you don't need to write any opening tag or closing tag or anything like that. You don't need all of those gibberish. You just go straight to write your code. Say, for instance, you want to say let cups of Gary, be equals to 10. The cost of Gary equals to 10, and let cubes of sugar equals to 5. Then let mu be equals to cup of Gary. Just some things that doesn't equals to cup of sugar. I think you need water, right, to make this kind of nice mix. So let water be equals to 2 cups of, right? So you want to add your water, right? So you want to now say alert perfect meal, alert perfect meal. So good. So this is the JavaScript that we wrote here. Can we do something now? Let's do something. Let's do something. Let's say let's now let's just do it here. After we have alert, before we alert. Okay, let's do it before we alert. So let's also say document dot get elements by ID. You remember that stuff that we wrote about tests that we change this to a done, whatever, a done. So let's now see. Let's now
I can't hear anything. Mr. Mushi, are you still with us? I'm not sure he's still here. He's frozen.
I'm
I
not
think it's
able to
his
see
network. I
him.
don't know if it's his network. It's probably his network, guys. Let's know. But let's just wait and see.
Okay, he's back. He's back.
Okay, he's Mr. Praise, we can't hear you. I don't know if you realize that. Hello, Mr. Praise. Praise, can you hear me? I don't think he's in the meeting. I think his network is pulling him out and in. Let me text him and see what's up.
no. No.
We can hear you,
Can you guys
Mr.
hear me?
Praise. Yes.
Okay. I don't know why this. Okay, so where did we stop? So yeah, okay, let me try and put up that code. Okay. So after this, we are done. So we can ask our question for those who still have questions. So yeah, this was the code that we wrote. So what will happen is that when I open that page, it's going to like add this whole thing for me and change that place we wrote welcome to Genesis to the number, to the particular figure. That's the addition of all this stuff. And then it's also going Can you guys still see my screen? Can you confirm that I can still see my screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can see you.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
All right. So yeah. So I said when I run this code now, it's going to calculate this stuff, put the number in the alert, and then also change that welcome to Genesis Tech Hub to the number, the addition of this stuff, right? So let's quickly see that. Let me quickly show us how it appears in the browser. So end there today. All right. So so yeah. So you see it now. So this is how it appears on the browser. So you see where we wrote our perfect meal 17. And then we can also see this place that was showing it done 9-day learn JavaScript is showing our 17. So if I refresh this page, if I press this page, if you look through, you will see welcome to class at that place. But immediately I click OK here, it changes to 17. So that's the powerful thing that JavaScript can do for you. And you can use this for animations, buttons, events. My God, it's limitless, right? So just keep working at that. So thank you very much for having me. So I will now open the floor for questions. And I'm done. Mr. Dozie.
So the floor, thank you, Mr. Praise. Thank you so much. So the floor is open now for questions. And please, if you are taking questions, let us be straight to the point as possible. We want to do fast and leave. The time is 5:10 now. So please, if you're asking questions, just go straight to the point. Don't beat around the bush. So we can start. Well, let me unmute Biola. I don't know if that is correct. Okay, you can unmute your mic, Biola.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, it's correct, Biola. Mr. Paris, thank you very much. I wanted to ask, I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, thank you. So I wanted to ask, does JavaScript has its own tags, just like HTML, CSS? Does it have its own tag? Because I didn't remember you telling us, because I'm seeing a lot of write-ups and I have to really read about. So I wanted to know, does it have its own tag, or we just have to write the reactions? That's my question.
All right. Does it have its own tag? I will not call it tag. It's called syntaxes, right? So I think that will come up from the next class. It's called syntaxes. So not like tags like the way we have HTML body tags and the rest of them. So instead of that, we have syntaxes like what I was showing us, where you have let, documents, .get, all of those buzzwords. And I know you are trying to like think how you'll be able to like memorize all of those things so that it will be easy for you to work with them. Yeah, but you don't need to memorize all of those things, right? So you just have to.
No. I'm not trying to memorize because you can't. There's a lot of things that you cannot memorize. I just want to have like an idea of, oh, okay, so if you want this response or reaction, like for example, if you want the over pseudocode over reaction from CSS, you put the what's the name of that sign? You understand? So like if you want some certain reaction or response from JavaScript, like are there like elements, syntax, tags that you have to put to get this reaction? So, but since you said you put us through in next class, I already got my question.
All right. Thank you very much. So yeah, there are syntaxes that we'll be using as time goes on, and then we'll be knowing more about that and knowing how to use that. Thank you very much. I don't know if we can take one more question. Is there any other question? I think there's somebody here now. Can you unmute your mic? I can't hear you. What's the name now?
Joanne, you can unmute and speak.
Joanne, yeah.
Okay, good evening, sir. So
yes,
I just wanted to ask, can you help, please, can you switch back to your VS Code? Because the particular part I'm not getting when you display your browser, the part of how 17 came about and some other stuff, sir. Can you just go back to your VS Code, please? Let us see the code in there.
Which part of it specifically?
Just the scripts.js part, that particular file.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Not yet, sir.
Can you see it now?
Not yet. It's still loading.
So, but just can you express yourself so that I will get? But I think you should already be able to see the screen now.
I don't know. I'm not seeing it too, but anyway, what I'm saying now is that when you were coding on the that scripts.js file.
Yes.
And there's some things that you did there. Is it inner.html and some other stuff? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how the 17 came about, how the welcome to the class came about, and everything just like mixed up. So okay, I'm seeing the screen now.
Okay. Are you satisfied now by seeing the code?
Okay, okay, thank you. I'll just read it.
Okay, I've seen it. You have seen it now, ba?
Yes, I'll just read it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Last question, or so we can go and sleep. Last question. %.
Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for the class. Okay, my question is, this your JS scripts, you wrote let cup of Gary. Like, why is the cup small letter and why is the of Gary capital letter? Why? Why can't
okay. All of those things are conventions. They are best practices. So there's what we call camel casing, right? Camel case.
Okay.
So the principle is that you start with small letter and then you highlight the other words with, how do I put it now? The first word in your variable will be small letter, right?
Okay.
Then the next word you start with the capital letter. The next word you start with the capital letter too. So yeah.
Okay.
So that's just the principle driving that is called camel case.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
So I think we are done with questions. I don't think there are any other questions coming up. So due to that, we'll end the meeting. But before we all go, please remember, this is the beginning of a serious part of our upskill program. So now we are in the end game. What I'm expecting everyone now is to all hands-on commitment. I'm not expecting you to just go for classes, attend classes, and you're done. I'm expecting the best and the maximum from the rest of you at this point. So please, you'll be getting your mentor soon. And before the end of today, anyone that has not filled their names, that is an active participant, unless if you don't want to participate. If you're an active participant and you have not filled your name and your email address and your phone number on that list I shared, just know that after today, there is no second chance. I'm closing the link for the tax 3 and the tax 4. Anybody that has not done or submitted those ones, just know that after today, sorry is your name. You're not getting it again. I'm telling the honest truth. So with that, please, we can all go, can all dismiss. Thank you everyone for coming to this class. Wishing you all the best in the coming weeks because, as they say, it's going to get tougher. All right now. See you guys later.
All right.